Hey everyone, today we are with Ivan and Karis, two co-founders of IAM. I'll leave it to them to explain what IAM is and get to know them better. Hey Ivan, hey Karis, how are you
Hey.
doing?
Hi, Ahmed.
All's good?
Yes, all good.
Very good.
So I'll just jump right into it. What I really want is I want to get to know both of you as what kind of personalities you are, what is your backstory, what led you to this moment, which is finding IAM.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with Ivan. If I would ask you, who is Ivan?
Mm-hmm.
What would you respond?
Very complex person. No, yeah, I'm the person probably who wants to achieve always more and more, who grow up in very competitive environment, surrounded with a lot of I think social political challenges, but which was actually good starting point to be what I am today. So yeah, I can say that I'm coming from the sports background because I was in sport for all my life since really a young age. Influence on me was related with my parents, especially my dad. My dad was my first coach, by the way. So
What did he coach you?
I was playing football, but maybe before that, I'm left-handed. I'm using left leg. So people are saying usually, "Oh my God, you are probably having some crazy talent. You are singing. You are writing or something." I was like, "Well, I don't know." So I think that the biggest talent I had, in sports. So I was multi-talented for sports. And in one point of my life, because I was into basketball, volleyball, and football, and very talented. I was newspaper, supported by our community, by my school, by my friends, of course, family. And my dad, in one moment, said, "Okay, Ivan, now it's time to decide which sport you want to go." And I chose football because he was a professional football player. And my grandfather was also a football player.
So you're the son and...
Yeah, so there's one secret maybe even my parents don't know. So I was actually the most talented. I was loving the volleyball the most.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have so many medals from the school competitions and diplomas, like a best player, best server, so everything. So in football, I was captain of football team of my school team. So in one moment, I decided, yeah, I will go with the football. Yeah, and then with amazing childhood in that sense, like living some kind of American movie dream, being the captain of all the sports teams in the school. It was amazing, but then when I started to join to really serious football, I realized actually how football was teaching me about life a lot.
That's a good subject to get into, like football
Yeah.
teaching. But if I go back, so you were the captain of a lot of sports teams.
Yes.
You were, I guess, famous in school.
Well, I think it's not a question for me. Well, being famous, I think I was more like a role model in a good way because I was supported, like I said, with the community. When I say community, I mean also from my school teachers, of course, from my family and the friends. So in that sense, I was really really a strong foundation to move forward and really try to go deep in professional sport. But after that, after joining, I really realized actually how there's a different side of any medal, yeah.
So you chose football even though you loved volleyball?
I was loving everything, but let's say I was the most talented, the most maybe passionate about the volleyball. But then I choose football, probably more some kind of
legacy,
showing the respect or also to my parents. Like, okay, I'll go in football, which was a tough road, but I learned a lot.
Okay, and how did you start the football career and where did it lead to?
Yeah, I went in one of the biggest clubs in Serbia. So I was playing the striker. So yeah, I was scoring a lot of goals. And I was quite fast, using left leg, which is always some kind of dominance in the football, actually, in any sport. But then after 1 or 2 years of being very successful, things were start to changing a little bit. So I was having, I want to say maybe not the great coaching experience from the coaches. Now I realize that, and that was causing me a lot of issues, probably a lot of insecurities because they were changing my positions all the time, and I was quite insecure which position I'm playing. And then I started to getting injured. So that's probably like something related with my mindset. I was getting injured, one surgery, second surgery, broken nose, so many like things were happening like at the same time, and my career was going in opposite way.
So
Yeah.
you said you had a lot of bad coaches.
Yeah.
Are you saying that basically having bad coaches like ruined some kind of a dream for you?
Um, I will not never blame anyone. I just was having not great experience, and based on that, I learned a lot. In that moment, it was frustrating because I was looking to be the best as I can be, but I was not able to achieve that. And in the end, I learned a lot. I mean, I don't need to mention who was doing what, but in general, bad coaching was, or maybe not great coaching, was really like on me, implemented very, very hard.
So what is bad coaching?
So bad coaching when it's related with how you're educating someone about something, and through that journey you're teaching someone and trying to develop the weaknesses of that person, but also to develop the strength. Something that's related with I am as well. What I like to see in people and try to find in people, it's like a vulnerable points. Not to do anything against them, actually to develop them. So I believe the vulnerability is like a biggest strength, something like a fear. And I learned that through my career, that finding the weak spot first in myself was giving me a lot of boost to be motivated to improve myself, to work a lot. Unfortunately, that's very difficult for people to accept that. So I didn't know in that age. I was more going like a deeper and deeper and down, like how to say, lower and lower in my confidence. And the good thing in time, I start to take another steps to start educating myself in sports science. So I then start to study and still playing football, but like a less and less. And I learned a lot in college, how to coach, how to educate, how to teach other people. And that was probably the best school. So I just maybe like to make final conclusion about that. Football teach me about life more than anything else, and probably quite early stage. So this is why probably I mature a little bit earlier, and sometimes I may be too philosophical, and but I'm trying to be also very practical.
Amazing. And so regarding coaching, I know that there's might be a difference between coaching and training. What do you think about that? And how is coaching different than training? What is each for you?
Mm-hmm.
And was the other coach, the football coach, training you or coaching you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for that. Coaching, it's a process, and training is a unit. So if you focus only on one unit, you cannot achieve the full picture. We have saying in my country, it's saying you cannot see the forest if tree is in front of you. So that's exactly something what is implemented in coaching. So coaching, it's a process, it's a journey. There's a lot of up and downs. It is commitment. It is also acceptance, and also ability to allow someone to help you. So this is also what's not related only with life, it's related with I am, where we are trying to help people and not to show what is their weakness, just to accept that weakness and work on that. Sometimes that is positive zero, sometimes like it's big minus, sometimes it's like something positive. So everyone's starting from different point. So this is why I believe what I am in general, it's not for everyone, because it's a journey, it's a process, it's a trust, and also it's something what can give you really sometimes life-changing, at least views, if not something more obvious.
So you've been a football player.
Mm-hmm.
You went to college. You studied.
Mm-hmm.
You went deep into the subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened after college?
Yeah, after actually during the college I started to work already, like probably like many people who are quite ambitious, who are driven. So yeah, I was starting like I think in my second year of college I already started to work. I was like a coach by a few mentors, where I gained like the basic foundation about sports science in a practical way. Then I was working for 1 year, one of the quite like a famous gyms, but I didn't find myself being part of the corporate. Sorry, Karis, for that. But I found that it's very difficult for me to work in bigger organizations because of my my drive and ambition to like create something what is unique. So then I opened the studio, and it was very successful for 5 years almost in Serbia. I was having like coaches under me. It was functional training groups, small groups like NPT. And these 4 years I used to do like a small research on body composition and motor skills of my clients, which I use for my final work and team for my ending year in college. And I sort of like put all together to explain what I did for 4 years and 5 years. Then after I finished my college, I was called to be lecturer in one of the scientific conferences to represent my work. And I proved myself of being disappointed from football and being, to be honest, very, I say like not a great student in the beginning. Yeah, I was probably frustrated with, with lots of things because I was not able to succeed in football. And I thought college is quite easy, but it's really extreme. So a lot of anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, and a lot of other like psychology sciences. And I think I was not able to adjust myself like quite quickly. So from some kind of like not a great student, I become someone who was on a scientific conference representing my own research after 5-6 years, I think. So
That's a proud
I
moment.
proved myself that I can do it. And then unfortunately, like in many like countries in transition, I was promised that I will be, everywhere, and TVs and different projects and different missions, and with my colleagues, my professors. But unfortunately, nothing didn't happen. And then I decided to show my skills somewhere like worldwide. And Dubai was always on my mind. And finally, when I decided, I came here again in the big organization, and after again 1 year, I realized like this is not for me. I tried one more time, and then again I started creating the brand with one of my friends and colleagues from the college, which we met here again after so many years, and that was very successful as well. And but then my vision and my preferences and my how to say, imaginary was in different way. So then third time I jump in with I am, and finally I'm doing something what I am.
So it seems like, and this is what a lot of people don't see, yeah? So if someone is coming for a coaching session, paying a certain amount, they're not paying for that 1 hour, they're paying for the 10 years that you spend studying every single thing about coaching, yeah?
Yes, to correct you, it's 15 plus years.
15 plus years.
And the college, it's just foundation,
Yeah.
I think first I learned a little bit about life, and then I learned about the college and science, and then I started investing big time in myself. So I think now, by my calculations, I invested almost double than I invested in my college with my additional education certificates, from simple courses to very complex courses to workshops to seminars. So
And you still do.
Yeah, sorry.
You still do.
I'm still investing, yeah. So yeah, still investing. I think it's never-ending process, because this is the only value what you can bring to anyone's life if you have qualification which you can implement in real life. So this is what I believe, and this is what our coaching team is also having like in their background. It's like a academic background, but with some kind of obligation to invest in themselves, like at least 1 or 2 times per year in some kind of new education, because things are changing very quickly.
So based on your experience, you've had a very long 15 plus years experience, and I know it's very difficult to summarize it into some advice. But if I am, for example, a busy entrepreneur, I'm ambitious, I want to grow, but I'm not being able to just get into the healthy lifestyle, get into the workouts, get into the things that I want to do or achieve the physique that I want. What advice do you have as a beginning?
For someone, you mean who wants to start to change something? Yeah. I think the first thing is you need to create acceptance what you are in this moment and in which shape you are physically, but also emotionally, motivation-wise, and also my very important part is professionally where you are. So many complex things that can need to come together to see where you are. So it's very difficult. It's not easy because people are expecting like instant results, and instant results are something what is more based on these modern technologies where informations are very like fast, and it's like an espresso machine. I get in coffee like immediately. Unfortunately, this is not related to that, because if you treat yourself in a bad way for 5-10 years, sometimes longer, and people expecting that everything will come back, after 1 month, sometimes even less, people expecting, that's very wrong. Because if you treat yourself not in the right way for some time, approximately same time need to go back on the track, because we have clients who didn't exercise for 10 years, and then now after maybe 1-2 years they start to becoming themselves again, because it's a process. You need to deal with your limitations, with the age, with weaknesses, with the sadnesses, because in our sessions, in our protocols, people are coming with the different mindsets, so with different state of emotional, what's the right name? Burden, yeah. Sometimes they're coming very happy, sometimes very sad, sometimes they're coming with the lack of sleep, some coming hungry, they're coming with something overeating, so they're coming different, frustrated from work. So there's different things which you need to deal with in a certain moment. So we're trying to always adjust ourselves to the client in that case, and to see where is the starting point. So I think there's no universal answer about that. It's more about creating, okay, we are here to help you, but you need to be very honest with us. That's the starting point.
Okay, and why do people usually start their journey with you? From your experience, from list of...
The first of all, I mean, when you're already in the business, usually, in my case, there's a lot of referrals.
That's not what I mean. Everyone has a reason to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually I read once in a book for Tim Ferriss, it says no matter how much you want to, for example, get leaner or get more muscular, or there is always a reason that pushes you to change, to start that diet, to start that going to the gym, to start a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes it's for some people it's them not being able to carry their kids around. Some people, for them, it's fear of aging. Some of people, there's a lot of reasons that, and I know you deal with a specific type of client. Your clients are unique. They are driven. They are ambitious. So usually these type of people, why do they start their health journey? What is the emotional needs that they want to solve in that process?
Okay, I understand now. You said one word which is very important. It's ambition. So I think that if you don't have ambition to change, you just don't living life. You're just living something what is flat, straight line, and just waiting for things to change. So people coming, of course, one of the biggest reasons are aesthetic reasons. So is that they want to lose the weight, they gain muscle mass, or to deal with some injury or some pain, which is on some kind of superficial level always happening. But also when people coming to us after our assessment and testing, we actually see there's many things we need to fix before that. Because, for example, losing weight is just a process of our methodology. It's a part of the process. So it's it's not only part, because there's no exercise for losing weight. There's no training for losing weight. It's a protocol. So it's a process. So, for example, losing weight, it's a more mental challenge than physical challenge. About the gaining muscle mass, which is usually goal for man, but fear for woman. I think Karis can give her example about that, of gaining muscle mass. We're trying to explain people why is that important. So for both man and woman, Men naturally having like a more muscle mass, women have less. So what's happening when you have like a more muscle mass in your body? Is it help you to lose the weight or not? Dealing with injuries. So there's a lot of fears there. So we're doing some specific assessments when people want to do, deal with they have fear of movement. They have limitations. Like you said, someone wants to like run with the kids or like do anything. So people have different goals, but when you scratch that, there's like so many things under. So sometimes it's difficult to accept that. Sometimes it's quite easy. So I like when people are starting from zero or even minus, because then progress is much bigger. And then everything's related, how things are going, how many exercises per week, what type of training they're doing, what is their limitations in terms of like a physical way. For example, they're developing the strength, they're developing the endurance. It depends what is the goal. The protocol is different, so it's not the same for everyone.
Yeah, of course. There's no one. I was just looking for examples, but I want to ask you, Karis, you're a client of IAM as well as a co-founder. So what I want to ask you this is something similar, which is, why did you start? And when I say why did you start, I want to dig deep into actually why did you start?
Well, okay, I had 2 boys. My children are almost 10 and 8. And I think when they were about 3, 4, and then probably 5 or 6, I just decided that I needed something for myself. So I think as a woman, you go through these different cycles in your life. I mean, of course, men go through their own cycles as well. But I've always been a very busy career woman. I've had big jobs, big career, very full on. And I always tried to stay fit and healthy. But I think I never pushed the boundaries in terms of getting proper results. So I considered myself healthy. I've always had a healthy diet. But I was never ever seeing the results I really wanted to. But I was kind of okay with that. I knew I was quite slim. People always used to say that. So, you live in that world of, okay, I'm doing just enough to keep myself healthy. I think I then had some sleep issues in 2017. And unfortunately, my sleep is probably the only thing from a health perspective that I can say has, it's hindered me over the last 5 or 6 years. And prior to that, I'd never really had any health issues. So my kids had got a little bit older. I'd really spent all of my time between them and my job. So really splitting myself for a time. I was actually commuting to Abu Dhabi as well. I was working out at a gym. I had, interestingly enough, with Ivan's old company, some free sessions. So I tried those because they were just part of my membership. And it was really interesting for me because I'd worked out with groups before. I'd worked out with a trainer before. And I remember Ivan coming along with his assessment equipment. And then we did a 90-minute assessment looking at stability, flexibility, core, strength. And it was just something that I'd never seen before in the fitness industry, where someone can actually show you how your body moves and how that kind of physical movement can change things in your lifestyle. So, when I was younger, I was always very flexible because I always did ballet. I did ballet for 16 years. But that process showed me that I was no longer that flexible anymore. I'd breastfed my children. I was getting a bad back at work sometimes, which typically happens to females. So, and I think one of the things I remember him saying to me is, you don't use your glutes at all when you're exercising. He was able to tell me that just from that assessment. And actually, because the mobility of my left ankle was not as good as my right ankle, I remember I was wearing, leggings, socks, trainers. And he said to me, do you have a scar, anywhere that's sort of preventing your movement? And of course, it was covered, so he couldn't see anything. And yes, I'd completely forgotten to tell him there was a scar on my left ankle from something that happened when I was a child. So again, you can see how good that level of assessment was. He was able to identify that there was probably something wrong with my left leg or ankle, and therefore my movement, my mobility was not as good as the right side. So, I think that assessment teaches you how, if you can become more mobile, hip mobility, knee mobility, ankle mobility, how you're then able over a period of time to actually lift weights heavier and more effectively and without injury. And I'd lifted weights in the gym before, but nothing like I do now. And I think that's the really important thing about coaching as well, because having somebody that can take you progressively through that journey, you know, I was lifting 2 kilos, 4 kg, 5 kg, and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to lift heavy weights. And now where I am today, 3.5 years later, and I can deadlift on occasions, 100 kg, you know, sumo squat, 85 kg, you know, I'm really proud of myself because I never thought I would be able to do that. And for me, that journey has taught me, even though I know this certainly from my career, but in the fitness world, that has taught me that everything is about consistency. You know, it doesn't matter how you look at it. People go through fatty diets. They decide that they're going to exercise for a month or 2 months to get fit for an event. But everything is about consistency. If you don't do it consistently for a long period of time, you are never going to get sustainable results. You know, I've got so many friends that do diets and great, they look great for a month or two. But the second they go back to their normal eating habits, everything changes. And it's exactly the same with exercise. And people don't realize that. They think, you know, I want to look like that person in the gym. You know, that person's got really great muscles. I'm going to go and work out for a few months. The second you stop it, unfortunately, you lose it. So this has to be, you know, an investment of time and money over a long period of time. That's where you get the results. And this is why I ultimately chose, you know, Ivan as a coach. It was different to anything I had done before. And then ultimately why I was really keen to get involved in this business as well, because I could see it was having results on people that moved beyond the physical side. For me, I was having, you know, a tough time at work. I was taking on big roles, so quite a stress job, stress at home, just busy life of a working mum. So I felt that was my one outlet where I could just be Karis and nothing else.
You mentioned something related to, and this is something I've heard multiple times from you and from other people, is I joined because I want to have something for myself. Something for me. Maybe as someone that is maybe like doesn't have a family or is not married and have kids, I don't know what that means. And I'm sure a lot of people are the same. They don't know, what do you mean by that? When you say, like, I want to have more time. You joined a coaching program, you joined I Am because you want to have something for you. So why? What does that mean specifically?
I think that's why the target market for I Am is often people that come with those heavy jobs. They often have families because typically they are a little bit more time-starved. You don't know this until you have a family, and that's absolutely okay. But now I can look back on that time when I first arrived in Dubai and I was out on the beach every weekend. You know, the second I had a child, I realized, what did I do with my time? Because I felt like I was busy all the time, work and myself. And, you know, I'm going out with friends at the weekends, we're going beach, brunches, but I felt I was really busy. The second you have a child, you realize you are so unproductive with your time. And actually, you're quite selfish. Understandably, everybody's the same because you only have yourself to look after. You know, now you have other people who are 100%, you know, that they look to you for everything your children do. So I think that's why we say have some time for yourself. And that is normal for people that are going through later stages of their life and they're having their families and those dynamics change for you. I think for the younger population, everybody needs to find something that they enjoy. So it doesn't mean that I Am and the health and strength coaching that this company does is right for everybody. But I believe that it's just finding something for you, a hobby. And if we're talking about fitness, it's finding an exercise or a sport that works for you. I've got friends that, you know, they don't like to do strength training. They prefer team activities or team sport as their hobby. And that's absolutely fine as well. As long as something is keeping you fit and healthy, it's your outlet, then that's great as well.
Do you wish you started earlier?
Yes. Yeah,
Why?
definitely. Because I think now I know so much more, and that's natural in life as you have more and more experience, you know, but I would definitely have started this a lot sooner. As I said, I went to the gym, but I never threw myself into my fitness as much as I did into my family and my career. And therefore I didn't get the results that I'm getting now.
So yeah, this is what I wanted to understand better, is that why I Am clients join I Am. is I know, for example, that I joined because, yes, for aesthetic reasons, but these aesthetic reasons have a reason.
Mhm.
They have a goal. So, for example, there's always a deeper reason, and I learned this by asking. They ask 5 whys. This happened in business too. So for example, if someone did something, or you ask why, and then they say the superficial one, then you ask why,
Mhm.
they say the other one. If they said, for example, I want to lose weight, why? Because I want to look good, why? Because I want to impress my girlfriend, why? Because I don't feel very confident about myself and about how I look. So now you know the reason. So now you can understand things better. If I shift that question into both of you in terms of, Ivan, why did you start I Am?
I will be very sharp about this because I'm the happiest person when I can help someone. That is good and bad. Yeah, because when I started getting older, more experience in life and professionally, of course, I realized how being surrounded with the right people, it's actually influencing myself as well. So I can say that I'm very picky about people around me, and it's very difficult to create acceptance about the right people for me. So last couple of years, I started changing that, not being that stubborn, and allowing people to be closer to me and having like real friends. So I Am is actually around that, having someone on your side, having someone who will take care about you, who will not judge how you feel in that moment if you're coming like with a bad mood on training, who will adjust the tone of the voice if you're not feeling great, who will push you even if you're not noticing that. Karis knows some of the tricks I'm using for that. So however you feel, we will adjust it. We will help you. So I Am is started from there, saying I am. It's already strong enough. It's quite philosophical, but also I am is just the beginning of the sentence, because you can say I am confident. I am not confident. I am strong. I am weak. So in our assessment, we're using that trick of people to explain themselves in one word when they come to assessment. And when we're asking them after a couple of months how you'll describe yourself now, so it's completely different answer. So this kind of gain in confidence, like aesthetic reasons, of course, but you just mentioned that in very, very like a really nice way. Why? Everything starting with why. If you dig deeper, 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 and every time asking why are you feeling like this, why that, we are coming to a very simple slogan of I Am, which is just feel better. So we want to make people just to feel better, in a different way. Someone will feel better aesthetically, someone will feel better like energy-wise, someone will move better. There's many reasons, everyone coming from their reasons. So I think I Am is based around helping people to be maybe not the best, but better version of themselves, because perfection don't exist, but striving to perfection exists.
And Ivan touched on a really good point there about our tagline, which is this just feel better. We do get asked all the time, why is I Am different to other fitness companies? And it's of course a good question, because this market is incredibly saturated with personal trainers and fitness companies, and I'm sure they have their own benefits and unique selling points, but there is a lot of people out there. I think I was reading recently that there's over 2,000 personal trainers. And unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of those people just have qualifications that you can get within 3 to 6 months. And they still may be great personal trainers, by the way, but they're not coming with that level of experience, the educational background and qualifications that I Am is bringing, where we have, ex-professional athletes. We have people that are highly qualified with university degrees or even master's degrees. And then they also have qualifications in other specializations as well, such as neurokinetic therapy. So it's very, very unique. You can go to the gym and I might have neck pain from sitting at my desk all day, and my coach is able to actually use different trigger points. It's a form of motor therapy to actually support easing that pain. And it's a very natural healing process. I've had a knee issue before, neck issue, various things. Thankfully, no major injuries. But I'm always pain-free by the end of the session because of the neurokinetic therapy that they can couple with my strength training to make my muscles stronger. So I think that is very, very unique for someone, rather than, I see a lot of people in the gym, and unfortunately the personal trainers are just showing people how to use equipment. Sometimes they're even on their phone. It's one of my biggest frustrations when people are paying to have a trainer just stand in front of them using their phone. That is not coaching. That is maybe, basic personal training. So if you're looking for someone with that depth of qualification and experience, that's why we created I Am. And this concept around just feeling better, for me, it's really, really simple. But we were actually sat with one of my best friends. She's very, very senior in kind of marketing strategy, sort of regionally. And she helped us put some of the content together originally for the brand. And of course, it's great when you have somebody like that because they can ask you the questions that you can't pull out of yourself. And she asked us a really good question. She said, how does your coaching make your clients feel? What's the feedback that you get? And actually, it was so different for everybody. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling happier today. Clients that just say, well, I liked it because I came to speak to my coach and they made me feel happier. I've got the six-pack I want now. Maybe it is that. I've lost weight. Whatever your goal is, but it was different for everybody. And so I remember her actually saying to us, so you're kind of just making people feel better, whatever that means. And that's exactly it. That's how we came up with the tagline, just feel better.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Just to add something what Karis said about saturated market and this modern technology, social media, everything. There's something what is... I'm saying that for very early ages. I think Karis remember that. Coaches today representing them, they're superstars, superheroes. So they're representing them, coaches, they're superheroes, and social media, they're superstars. Actually, it should be other way around. So clients should be the superstars and superheroes because we are part of that process, changing their life for better. So when you change your life from 0 to 100, you are actually a superhero. So you are a superhero for not only for yourself, for your family, first of all for your kids, because they're, and Karis is a witness of, when she started exercising, so her kids start to coming to the gym sometimes. Mommy, I want to see you how you exercising and all that. So it's a big motivation. You're role model for your community. For general, for your friends, neighbors, and everything. So I think it should be all the way around. Unfortunately, because the influence on social media, it's always towards the one person. Same thing if you have a band, music band, so everyone focus on a singer. What about people around there? The song will not be that good, or songs not be that if there's no band behind. So I think the coaching should be positioned in a different way. So coaches need to be in the backstage. Creating the vibe around, and clients are superstars. So that's, I think, a big thing. And to add one more thing, I Am started sort of after a few months, I met Karis because she's exactly the role model of the client of I Am. Why I'm saying that? Because there is I cannot say still a scientifically proven thing, but from my experience, that people transferring their personality into training. It's very simple. How they behave, how they perform. Are they allowing them to be pushed, or they like the comfort zone? They will show how they feel or not? Will be they flat or not? So it's so many things that can be transferred from simple, training into the life as well. And Karis is one of the people who actually was driven. All the time. It's all the time. It's ongoing process, constant progress, constant investment in the time of committed to the training and everything. And to be the biggest paradox, actually the peak of your commitment to training was actually during COVID. Yeah, which is probably another story.
Yeah. So you basically analyzed her personality.
Yes.
And then chose her as the right
partner. One more thing. I know if Karis is allowed to give them the story, actually how we met. That was actually complete coincidence. I don't know if I mentioned that story ever. So one of the coaches who's supposed to do assessment Karis in my previous company was away. So I got the call from him, a message. There's one potential client, and can you just do assessment with her, and then we'll see. And she's having like a few sessions as well, like you said. So I was like, oh man, okay, I will try, because my schedule was packed. Anyway, I found the time, we agreed about everything, we did assessment, and immediately I was like, yeah, she's super nice and everything, it's gonna be quite, how to say, like an easy journey, because she's like, you can see that, the active personality, it's like, it's sort of, we're calling that easier clients. And
not sure about that.
Yeah, in a way, like of the coaching.
Yeah.
And immediately I started shifting her to another coach. So one of my calls, because I was fully booked. So we create connection between these two coaches in a way, like they change the phone numbers, calls. They were not able to find the time. So Karis one time, he was not able to find that time. Once, second time, I was posting in a group for my colleagues, guys, can someone just, take over the client? No one, everyone was super booked. In the meantime, I was like, one of my clients, in time which she actually wanted, she asked me to change the time without me asking anything. And literally time was open then for Karis, and we sort of like start to exercising now. It's like 3.5 years. Yeah. So it's like, when something like it's like meant to be, it will be.
That's a nice coincidence.
Probably just a good time to add there as well that it wasn't always easy for me, because I think sometimes we give this perception that, if you're a driven person, you can be driven in everything. And it was really difficult for me, going back to the previous point, to really get started properly. I'd met Ivan, the assessment was great. I could see this would be different. But I think he probably found me a bit challenging for the first couple of months. I had a bit of a break, because I remember going on holiday to Sri Lanka and then coming back. And I remember he was messaging me to say, okay, you're going to get started. So I could see he was, in this, you need to be serious about this. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Someone who's actually, pushing me to get started.
You like to be challenged.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I remember for the first couple of months really vividly, how am I going to put this into my day? Because I'm rushing from work. Yes, I have a helper at home because I'm a full-time working mom, but I'm a bit of a recovering perfectionist, which I can talk to you about later. And I felt like I needed to do everything, and that's been so amazing for me in many ways, but it's also been detrimental for me in many ways as well. And I was trying to schedule it between work and going home for the kids' bath times and bedtimes, because I always had that working mum guilt. I felt like I should always be with my children outside of work. And I think that's a problem that a lot of women face. And I think we did, I don't know exactly how many sessions, a few sessions over a month. It was difficult for him to find the right time for me. I was always, no, I can't do that. I've got to rush home for my kids. And I think one day it just clicked. Something changed. And I knew that was what I was supposed to do, because I was enjoying it. It was something that was challenging me, which is really important for me. And it's something that I could see I would progress in. And that's why I said it's different for everybody. Strength training, resistance training may not be for everyone. I found something for my body type. I'd tried running. I'd tried lots of different activities, and I just didn't enjoy it. This was the one thing in a kind of almost contained space of the gym. I felt like I could just be myself. And that moment just switched for me. And then I've been doing it consistently, which is how also it can show you how things can easily become a habit, because I do believe if you do it consistently over a period of time, it will become a habit. If you just give it up after a couple of months, you're probably never going to go back to it. And I think I've trained initially 3 times a week, and then I moved to 4 times a week to really push myself. And I can say in 3.5 years, I've probably missed no more than, you could count probably on 2 hands how many sessions I've missed. I still continue my exercise during holiday as well now. I do believe in sometimes having a break and time off. But I think, again, this comes back to the consistency. I've invested so much money in this process now, having a personal trainer. I realize I'm very lucky and privileged to be able to afford a trainer, especially while I'm living in Dubai and have a good job. But, I'm not willing to lose everything that I've invested. That's very much my personality as well. So if I've spent X amount of money on a personal trainer for the last 3.5 years, why am I going to stop it now? Because I will just go backwards and I will lose everything that I've already gained.
Yeah, so you've gained a lot of, would you say, tangible strength that you're not willing to lose?
Yeah, Ivan asked me a good question when we first met, and that's what I also liked as well, because I think so many fitness companies are just about transformation. And of course, for some people, that's very important. They want to lose weight, gain muscle mass, transform, have that six pack that they see on TV. But that was never my goal. And I think that's one of the things that made us match from a coaching perspective, because I remember saying to him, I want to be stronger. I feel now like after having my children, and that's not just physically stronger, by the way, that was almost like mentally stronger as well. I've had my kids, I've got a big job, you know, I need that outlet. I just want to feel stronger. And he also asked me, how long do you think it will take to get results? Which is a really good question to ask, I think, a new client. Because if someone's saying to you, well, you know, a couple of weeks, I think I should start looking better, you're not being realistic. And I remember saying to him, I think it's going to take 3 to 6 months at least to start seeing some results. And it was exactly that. 3 months, I started to feel better. 6 months, I could see, you know, a few changes in my body. But that process is ongoing. You know, even now, I'm looking at how I can put more muscle mass on. You know, what do I need to do because of my body type? So it's still changing all the time. And the weights I lift are getting heavier, but it's all progressive. And that's what I love about it.
So why did you want to become stronger?
Again, as I said, I just had a very busy life split between...
So you wanted to become stronger to be able to navigate these tasks that you have on day-to-day basis in a efficient way?
Yeah, and I think feel good about myself as well, which again, if we come back to I am and just feeling better, you know, it gives you more confidence. For me, I was finding a pattern that I was sleeping better. I was finding a time, you know, 5:30 if I was training, so it's not too late before bedtime. That was helping my sleep as well, and that was a really important goal for me. And then being moved into a job a couple of years ago, a much more senior job, unexpectedly, came with a bit of a bang. It was almost like that mental resilience that I needed at work as well, and the outlet. Otherwise, I would have just kept on working day and night. So that's why it really was an outlet for me. And it also helped me, I think, be a stronger mother. You know, my kids can see me working out now. You can throw your kids around more physically anyway. I can lift them. Even now, the age they're at, it's very easy for me to lift them and carry them and cuddle them. And yeah, you just have that resilience to go through life, because being a mother or father, being a parent can be challenging. It's you know, it's a huge roller coaster, amazing highs, but also some lows as well. And you're learning every single day. So I think you need that resilience, that grit to get you through every day.
So I wanna ask about two things. One for you, Ivan, and one for Karis and Ivan. So one of I am's visions is helping you feel better emotionally and professionally, and physically, of course. So I want to talk more about the professional part. You've touched upon it now. Being stronger helped you in your career become more resilient. And that's what a lot of people, I think, they don't know. They think that they do not have time to train, but at the same time, they don't know that if they train, their time will be more efficient in a way.
Absolutely.
I do not know exactly how does that work. So can you maybe elaborate on okay, how, if I train now, how will that help me in achieving my business goals? Because everyone has business goals, yeah? They want to grow the business, they want to grow their career, they want eventually that. If the clients, most of the clients are ambition. So ambitious people are willing to do everything you tell them to do if they think that's going to make them closer to their goal. For example, and for me, if you tell me right now that if you do this one thing and you'll achieve your goals, I would do it no matter what. I know that for a fact. So if you convince me that this is going to help me get closer to my business goals, I will do it. So how does the training helps you with the professional business goals? It might be more money, it might be a better career, growing the business.
Yeah, I mean, I agree and disagree with some of the stuff you said. So I think, ambitious people do have more drive, you know, through nature, nurture, whatever it may be. But that certainly doesn't mean, and I think it's a really big myth, that unambitious people cannot train and exercise and be really good at it. I think, the busiest people are actually the most effective. It's a fact. If I look around me, you give something. That's why we have this saying, if you need anything doing, give it to a busy person, and I can give you an example of that. When I was at home with my children, and don't get me wrong, before any mothers start shouting at me, you are incredibly busy with your children, but it's a different part of your brain. I had this long list of things that I wanted to achieve while I was at home for a period of time with my children because I thought I would have a lot more time. No, I didn't. So, mothers are incredibly busy and it's a whole job itself. But when I went back to work, I was more effective because I knew I had to split my time, and you could have given me 100 other things in the day to do, pay bills, whatever, and I could have done it more effectively. So I think, my advice to people, that's the starting point, is if you're busy, you just literally have to adjust something to accommodate something else. So you can go to bed an hour earlier, you can get up an hour earlier. That's literally how you manage your time. I think that's really, really important. And I've got one of my best friends actually is a really, really good example of this. She tried fatty diets. She's a mother of twins. She did lots of different things. She put on weight, she gained weight, she lost weight. She exercised, intermittently. Now at almost 43, she is absolutely ripped and looking better than ever. And the way she did that is she starts to go to bed now at 8:30, 9 o'clock, no negotiation. Doesn't matter who she's with, who's visiting her, what her kids are doing. She goes to bed. She gets 8 hours sleep. She gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and she goes to CrossFit every day at 6 o'clock. And she has done that consistently now for 2-3 years. And she's looking better than ever. So it is about consistency and it's about changing something in your lifestyle. But everybody can do it. Every single time you tell yourself you cannot, your brain is just functioned in such a way to stop you doing it. That's how your brain works. So you have to push through that. You have to make a change. And every single person can do it. I don't believe that it's just ambitious people that can make other things work. You just literally have to get out of bed one day, say, I can do this. I'm going to change something small today in my habits, in my daily lifestyle. And, that's how you make a change. And I think effects that it had on me professionally, but also people that I saw around me, definitely for me, I'm a very energetic person anyway. It's actually probably one of the biggest issues I have because that's why I sometimes struggle to sleep because I just have all this natural energy all the time. I feel like I never get tired, which actually can be a problem. But I was always energetic, even on the nights that I didn't sleep. More productive, yes, because when you have 1,000 things thrown your way and then you have another 100,000 things thrown your way, you're able to deal with it. You're able to manage everything, everything that's going on around you. And if I look at some of the people around me, I can literally think of 2 or 3 people that were my ex-colleagues. They became more productive. They were less grumpier. Like their mood significantly shift, big time. And of course, they were looking better as well. So I think there's so many positive effects that people don't realize until they do it consistently for a period of time. But that's why I think, it changes you professionally because you feel more confident, you have more energy, you are more productive. And whether that fits you're working out in the morning or in the evening, but those, positive endorphins are always pumping through your body. Of course, that's then going to flow through into your work life as well.
So would it be fair to say that physical strength training helps you become more energetic, more confident, and being more energetic, more confident will naturally make you grow professionally and achieve your business goals?
I can just add one thing. So what we're trying to teach people, educate, and overall the message, if you start from the history, we are based on movement. So since Ice Age and everything in this world is moving. So from universe, from the clouds, from the sun, from people, from everything is moving. So our blood is moving. So we are made of the movement. So before people were hunting to survive and feed their families. Also, there's just so many researchers that saying that actually in our brain we don't have a center for walking. We have a center for running. And where we get used to when it was cold, we were running all the time because it was cold. You need to move it from point B from A to from point A to point B, like with the running, because it was too cold. You can't just walk around like in a park but before it was much colder. So there are so many proofs what's happening like in the movement. Science behind the movement and training, which Karis was mentioning, you mentioned endorphins. Endorphins, one of the hormones of the happiness. There's a science 100% correct or 110% correct that after training, physical training, we are happier. We are feeling more confident. There's a hormones of happiness who are like a firing up. So this is the biggest beauty of the training. And this is where this slogan is coming, just feel better. So no matter how you feel before training, no matter how your problem is big before that, after training, it will look a little bit much clearer. And something you mentioned about resistance training, I think resistance training is creating resilience. Resilience is something what is actually in this life and 21st century, something what is required. Because physically stronger to give you the confidence as well. If you want to recover from the injury, you need to become stronger. You need to develop the strength. If you want to, increase the muscle mass, you need to develop the strength. If you need to be faster, you need to develop the strength. If you want to lose the weight, you need to develop the strength. Science behind that is there's a different type of the strength. But what we're trying to teach people is that to move in multiple directions, to improve their mobility, to learn them how to jump, how to develop the power, how to develop the different type of the strength, how to develop their endurance. Everything's happening at the same time. Also, what is very important, maybe we missed, it's we're learning people how to breathe. This is something what essentially we are not aware that we are breathing. This is something not unstoppable process, and people don't know how to breathe. We are teaching them how to breathe properly, how to use the breathing techniques to improve their performance or to feel better after stress or during the stress, how to be more productive. All the things when we put all together, we're giving something what I can say we developed like a very signature methodology, but we were taking the best things from everything. So we're using the athletic movement, we're using rehab movements, we're using like a different kind of techniques to people feel better. So, and after that, definitely your confidence will grow. And then you'll show up in office and people will ask you, well, you look better. Oh, you're shining today, what's wrong? Your eyes looks better, or, nice dress or nice suit. So people will see the difference when you start to working on yourself, because physical change will come in any scenario. But like Karis said, if you start to giving up and trying to find excuses, it will not work. So there's one rule, which is quite popular. It's 21-90. So, after 21 days, it's possible to create any habit, any, bad or good. So if people start to smoke, after 3 weeks of smoking, they will be smokers. If they start to stop smoking, they will not smoke anymore after 3. And then in 90 days, that habit which you create will be already part of your life. So we were implementing that simple rule in training. So again, we're not talking about 3 months period and you exercise one time per week. So you need to achieve something what is this kind of minimum of the minimum is 3 times per week with probably additional homework. So this reflection from the physical to professional, it's quite easy because people will see that you are different in a better way. And in the midway, it's emotional because that's all connected. If you're feeling better after, being stronger or fitter, you feel more confident, you feel happier or maybe fulfilled more. And that will transfer every segment of your life. And people notice that difference. So this is the beauty of training, like a trigger point for a change.
Yeah, I mean, I can only comment on my personal experience, but I think in the 3.5 years that I've trained, there has never been a time that I've left the gym feeling worse, which you would hope, right? There's definitely been times when I've arrived at the gym feeling not great. And that is because I've had stress at work. Something's not gone my way. Something's happened with one of the children. There's a family issue. Whatever it is around you, you go to the gym quite often, not always feeling great. And you will always leave feeling better. But the main thing there is getting yourself to the point where you can allow yourself to exercise. And that's the issue that many people face. I'm feeling bad today, so I'm going to stay in bed. I've had a really crazy day at work. I'm just going to get myself home. I want a cup of tea. I want to go and eat my dinner. And that's all okay sometimes, but if you keep doing that, you'll never make those, sustainable changes in your habit and your routine. It's that mindset that tells you, what is my brain telling me today? No, I'm not going to go to the gym. I don't feel like it. I'm not feeling good enough. I'm too tired. Well, actually, say to yourself, I'm going to do it. And that's what gets you there. The saddest thing for me is the people that think that if you're really, really tired, you haven't had enough sleep, you shouldn't go to the gym. Ivan knows because of my sleep issues, which I've already touched on. I've come to the gym before on as little as 2 hours sleep. And yep, he is able to adjust my training, adjust the weights. And that's the beauty of having a coach as well. Probably wouldn't be able to do that myself. I also know I'm paying for the session. So that's another driver for me to get me there. Another great reason to have a coach. But I was always told by one of the doctors I saw, actually, a naturopath who talked to me about my sleep. And she actually said the best thing for a person like you, Karis, where your circadian rhythm being similar every single day, your routine being similar every day. I'm a real routine junkie. It's better for you to get yourself out of bed, continue your day, do everything normally, even on the days when you haven't slept very well. And that is completely true, because when I've left the gym, I felt even better. And I might feel tired later in the day, but it's always made me feel better. So again, it all comes down to mindset and what you tell yourself you can do.
So, you mentioned that one true scientific fact is that after gym, you always feel happier.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a question that I've always thought about since like 10 years is, it might be a dilemma that I have is, does success bring happiness or happiness bring success? So what do you think about that?
That's interesting philosophical question. So I think, the happiness, first of all, it's temporary. And happiness is like one unit, and fulfillment is something else.
Okay, so maybe fulfillment.
But you need to create foundation to feel happy as well. So this is where coaching is coming as well. So you need to find a way to make someone to feel better. Sometimes in our, which Karis knows, sometimes it's about asking the right question as well. It's not giving the advice, oh, look, Karis, you need to sleep, like this and that. So no, sometimes just asking right question, is good enough to like a trigger, any kind of like additional energy for the person, just creating that kind of level of understanding. So based on your question, what is creating? So I can guarantee that training will make you feel better. How that will influence your rest of your life, that also depends what kind of person you are and what you're trying to achieve. If you will have like an important meeting just after the training, definitely you will be more positive and more optimistic about that. If you have any kind of issue before the training, if you can measure that from 1 to 10, let's say that you're, for example, you're feeling like about that issue now, let's say 3. If it's 3 is close to the strongly agree, that problem will not be solved. After that, it will be probably 7 to 8. That's something what I can guarantee, and we can guarantee that's actually it's happening. So I don't know if that is answering your question, but definitely I know from my professional side that will make you happy.
So yeah, it seems to me that from what you guys said is that obviously trainings is affecting every aspect of the life, emotionally, professionally, physically, and that is driving people to achieve more, build more, have a more fulfilling life. So it really the other, it's really not that they are happy because they achieved everything, is that they achieved everything because they built a foundation or a system with coaching that will make them happier every other day or
Correct.
every day.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think success and happiness, it's like a cycle of life. I think they're completely interconnected. I don't think you can just say that if I'm successful, I'm going to be really happy, because sometimes that means you may have other stuff going on in your life. I might be phenomenally successful in setting up a business or in my career, but that doesn't mean I'm happy. But success, of course, can create happiness. If I've set up that business and it's working well and we're going in the direction I want to, of course I'm going to feel more fulfilled. Same if I'm at home with my children, my kids are doing well, they're content, I'm going to feel happier in my life. But I don't think you have kind of one without the other. I think, they're completely
That's great.
intertwined.
At the end of the day, coaching is like attending a coaching session is a success, is a personal success for people.
It is, but it's one thing which maybe we'll add. This is why in IAM we're trying to create community with the like-minded people, because I think something what is missing in everything in this world is the communication. People don't know how to talk with each other. This is what we're trying to create in our approach, and we are behind that we are curious, we care about people in a way how they feel. And one of our things which we're like assessing is like how you feel, how you move, and how you feel when you move as well. So that is something what is important. What is why we're having like a community where we're having like a certain experiences at least one time per month when all our clients coming together, and you can just see the vibe is like exactly how it's supposed to be. They're coming with a similar drive, similar energy, of course different persons, different lives and everything, but you can see how things are matching. So energies are matching. So this is where it's very important to recognize what you want to do, and this is why we are really strict about IM is not for everyone. If you want to go for like instant results, it's possible, but there's a big chance that you will come back on the same after a few weeks.